You know that feeling when you're just trying to sign up for something online and you suddenly feel like you're in an argument with a website? You hit submit and a bunch of red error messages pop up. Well, today we're going to talk about the invisible process that's supposed to prevent that fight in the first place: form validation.
Yeah, we've all been there. You spend all this time carefully typing in your information, you click the button, and boom, a screen full of angry red boxes. It almost feels like the website is scolding you for not being a mind reader. And that little digital argument, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. See, that frustrating red box is way more than just an annoyance. It's actually a signal. It's the only part you can see of a much bigger, really crucial process that's happening behind the scenes. A process the web literally can't function without. Here's a good way to think about it. Every single time you fill out a form, you're basically starting a conversation. Your computer, which in tech terms is called the client, is trying to send a message to the website's computer, also known as the server. And just like any good conversation, this digital one needs some rules to work. The information has to be clear, it needs to be structured in the right way, and it has to be complete so the server can actually understand what you're trying to do. Without those rules, it's all just digital noise. So, what happens when that message isn't clear? I mean, what if you leave a box empty by mistake? Or you accidentally type letters where your phone number should go? Or even worse, what if somebody is intentionally trying to send harmful code through that form? That right there is the problem that needs to be solved. And the solution to that problem is form validation. You can just think of it as the gatekeeper. It's the process that checks to make sure the data you sent follows all the rules, that it's in the right format, that everything required is there, and most importantly, that it's safe for the server to handle. Now, this whole validation process doesn't just happen all at once. It's actually broken down into two main stages. And the first one, well, it's kind of like having a helpful little assistant sitting right there with you, giving you instant feedback. This is what we call client-side validation. Before your information even leaves your computer, your own web browser runs a quick check on it. It's great at spotting simple mistakes right away, like an empty field or an email address that's missing the @ symbol. This makes everything feel so much faster because you don't have to wait for your info to go all the way to the server and back just to find out you made a tiny typo. So what's making that quick check happen? It's basically a little set of instructions written in a language called JavaScript. Now, don't worry, you don't need to read or understand any of this code. The important thing is just knowing that it's a small script living right there on the web page that lets your browser give you that instant feedback without ever having to call home to the server. But here's the thing, that helpful assistant isn't enough to protect the system all on its own. After that first quick check, your data gets sent off for a second, much more serious inspection. This is the real security gate. And this part is called server-side validation. Once your information finally arrives at its destination, the website's server runs its own set of much tougher, more thorough checks. This is the final authority, the one that truly decides if your data is good to go. So why have two checks? Couldn't we just rely on the first one? Well, no, because that first check, the one in your browser, can actually be bypassed. Someone could turn off JavaScript in their browser, or a malicious person could just skip the form entirely and send bad data directly to the server. That's why the server-side check is absolutely non-negotiable. It's the final line of defense. So if we put them side by side, you can see they're really a team with two very different jobs. The quick check, the client-side one, happens right in your browser. It's instant, and its whole purpose is to give you a good, smooth experience. But the deep check, the server-side one, is a bit slower, and its purpose is way more serious: security and data accuracy. You really need both for a website that's friendly and safe. Okay, so this two-step system sounds pretty foolproof, right? For the most part, it is. But even with both checks in place, validation has one really important limit. It's powerful, but it's definitely not all-knowing. Let's take a look at what it can't do. Here's the most important thing to get. Validation is basically a pattern checker. It's great at checking if your data looks right, but it has no way of knowing if that data is actually true in the real world. Think of it like a grammar checker, not a fact checker. This quote from one of our sources just explains it perfectly. A computer can look at a name like ABCDEFGHIJ and see that it fits the pattern of a name, a capital letter, then some lowercase letters. So it passes validation. But obviously, the system has no idea that it's not a real person's name. And an email address is another perfect example. Validation can confirm that it has some text, then an @ symbol, then more text with a dot in it. It has the format of an email, so check, it's valid. But does that inbox actually exist somewhere out there? The computer has absolutely no way of knowing. That's just beyond what it can do.
So when we put all these pieces together, the quick check, the deep check, and its limits, what does it all mean for us, the people actually using these forms? Well, it all comes down to the art of creating a helpful, respectful experience. And you can see the difference so clearly here. On the left is our old enemy, that vague, unhelpful error message. It just yells at you without any real guidance. But on the right, that's thoughtful design. The error is specific. It tells you exactly what you need to fix. It's not arguing with you, it's gently guiding you toward a solution. And in the end, this whole invisible process matters because it's really about respect. It's about respecting the user's time by giving them clear, instant feedback. And it's about respecting the digital system by keeping it safe from errors and attacks. Good validation just makes the web work better for all of us. So the next time you fill out a form and it just works without any fuss, maybe just take a second to appreciate that invisible system working behind the scenes. Because good validation, just like all good design, is at its absolute best when you don't even notice it's there, quietly guiding you along and saving you from an argument you never needed to have.